Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're talking about the new Chantecaille fall collection. I have the Safari Collection Eye Trio, as well as the Lip Veil in Acacia. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. A friendly reminder for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm a makeup artist as well as esthetician, and I now offer online beauty consulting services. So this is a one-on-one beauty coaching service. So if you have any and all beauty concerns, whether it's makeup or skincare related, just click the link below in the description box to make your appointment today. All right, let's dive into this beautiful collection for fall. So this eyeshadow palette here is the Walk for Giants Safari Collection Eye Trio. I'm going to go ahead and read off a bit of the information on the back here. So this is an exclusive palette of 3 flattering elephant embossed eye shine shades. Selenki, a burnished gold, Nanu, a soft taupe, and Red Earth, a strong copper. The palette gives back to Space for Giants, a Kenyan nonprofit, and their Walk for Giants, a trek through one of Africa's great elephant corridors, raising funds and awareness to protect their ancient migration landscape. So Space for Giants and Walk for Giants are definitely charities that I've seen before with Chantecaille. This company likes to pair up with nonprofits and help with animal conservation or animal wildlife preservation as well. So if you look at this palette here, you can see the elephant logo here on the front, and it's actually a bit raised. So there's a bit of texture here on the palette. It looks really beautiful. It's very sleek, very clean. And you can see the shades here. First we have the taupe shade, which as you can see, I think got damaged a little bit on the root here. These shadows seem to be very fragile. They seem to be a bit softer than some other ones. So the hump and a little bit of the back of the elephant got a little bit damaged, but that's okay. And then we have a beautiful, more red earth shade, and then we have a beautiful golden color. And then the lip veil that I got, Acacia, is so beautiful. It's this tawny rose color, and I have to say that the box is beautiful. I think it matches my shirt as well as the packaging for this lipstick here. It definitely looks very fall themed. It even matches my nail color. It just screams fall to me. So I got my collection here through Holt Renfrew. So I have a contact at the Holt Renfrew Montreal location. Her name is Jessica. I will put her information down below. She works at the Chantecaille counter, but she's helped me with other brands as well. I find that having an actual human contact makes the whole process much easier. She can send me photos of like real life products and not just promo photos online. And you can end up getting a lot of samples too if you talk to an actual human being instead of ordering online. Sometimes ordering online is the only available option, but if you can, I would highly recommend just talking to a person. It's just much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and include some swatches here of this beautiful palette. So the first swatches are just the dry swatches. So you have the taupe color, the burnished red, and then that coppery gold shade at the bottom. So these are just dry finger swatches here. I'm also going to include some wet swatches. So I wet the brush that came with the palette here. I used some Fix Plus, and then I dipped into the palette because I wanted to see if wetting the brush would make it more intense, and it does. If you want a more intense eyeshadow look, I would recommend wetting the brush. So on top we have the wet eyeshadow swatch, and on the bottom is just the regular dry one. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by going into the taupey color here, and I'm going to use the brush that came with the palette here. So my eyelids have been primed. I primed them off camera. I used the NARS eyeshadow primer. It's the one that I use every single day. Okay, so this is pretty true to color here. As I mentioned, if you wet the brush, you get a more intense look, but this is pretty nice. I do have to say that the eyeshadows are very, very soft, and once you start playing around with the colors, you basically lose the elephant logo or design. I think for some people that upsets them because they want to keep the beautiful pattern forever. But for me, when I see a very well-loved, well-used palette, I know that I got my money's worth. And just using the same brush and the same taupey color, I'm just going to trace under the lashes here. And then using a clean, fluffy brush, I'm just going to buff this out and just blend this out. So just right off the bat, I have to say that this formula feels different than the palette in the spring, the Hummingbird palette. These ones here were more of a high shine satin finish. Like these were all satin finish, but they had more of an intense sparkle effect. And the same can be said for these eyeshadow singles. These are the ones that came out last fall. This one here is Pangolin, but this one again is definitely a satin finish, but it has a really high shine factor to it. These eyeshadows here feel like a satin, but they're more natural, more subdued. And I forgot to mention as well, this eyeshadow palette here, this is 7 grams of product. It's the same size as these new Dior eyeshadow quints, so it's about the same standard size as an eyeshadow palette, but this one here is a bit more expensive. This Chantecaille trio here is 100 Canadian plus tax, and the lip veil here is 65 Canadian plus tax. Again, if you can talk to an associate, whether it's on the phone or through Instagram, it's a much better deal for you, because you can try out samples. Anytime that I order online through Holt Renfrew, I never get anything, but if I actually talk to an associate, it's a much better experience. So now I'm going to go into this beautiful reddish color here, and I'm going to place it in the outer corner. So I'm just placing it here and in the crease too. And I'm going back in with that clean blending brush from before and just buffing this out. So I actually want this red color to be more intense, so I'm going to go in with this brush here and I'm going to wet it. I have the Caudalie grape water here. I'm going to spray it, go into the red shadow and make it a bit more intense. I am just going to go over where I placed that taupey color earlier, and I'm just going to mix these together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my face makeup and I'll finish up the eyes afterwards. But I do have to warn you that there is quite a bit of fallout with these shadows here. Even when you wet the brush, there's just a lot of fallout with these shadows. So I would definitely recommend doing your eyes first and then the face makeup afterwards. So for the foundation, I'm going to go into my Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation. I have the shade Alabaster, which I think will be too light for me right now. So I'm going to go into a bronzer first. This is my Chanel Les Beiges Healthy Glow Cream Bronzer. And I am just going to lightly use this as basically a base, just to warm up my skin tone a little bit. And now I'm going in with a wet sponge and I'm applying my Future Skin Gel Foundation. This is pretty lightweight, but it's really nice because it kind of lets your skin shine through. I'm always a big fan of any foundation that lets my skin look like skin. You know, if there's a beauty mark that's still there, you know, just like little imperfections, I don't mind, let them show. So for the concealer, I'm going into the Chantecaille Le Camouflage Stylo number 3. Okay, now that the concealer is done, let's go into some blush. This is the Chantecaille Cheek Gelée in Vibrant. So yesterday, I sat in on a masterclass from Chantecaille and they talked about this new collection here, and I think it was hosted by Scott Patrick. I think he's the education person in Chantecaille. I'm very sorry if that's wrong. I believe he is the educator for Chantecaille, and it was just a very interesting seminar, like a Zoom meeting, if you will. I think we're all very familiar with those nowadays, and it was just funny because every time I sit in on those master classes, those web sessions, I always want to buy everything. Everything that they mention, I'm like, oh, I need that too. And then I was talking to Jessica at the Chantecaille counter, and she was like, don't you have like almost an entire counter at your house? And I was like, yes, but I don't have the eyeliners yet. So I'm eyeing the eyeliners next. And also their mascara, it looks really lovely too. Just in case I don't have enough already. And they were talking about this blush here, the Vibrant blush, and it's pretty intense, and they recommended using a brush to apply it, which makes sense. But they talked about some of their lighter colors, I think called Happy, which they said you could just apply with your fingers because it's a bit less intense. But with this one here, like, you have to apply it on the back of your hand, wipe it off a little, and then apply. But it's really lovely. I can't believe that at the beginning of the year, I said to myself, I'm going to try to pan this blush. I'm going to go ahead and try to use up the whole thing this year. Spoiler, it's not going to happen. There's way too much color, but I'm still using it, but there's no way I'm going to finish it by 2020. I'm going to go ahead and add a hint of highlighter too. This is the Chantecaille Liquid Lumière. This is the Face Illuminator in the shade Brilliance. So this one, I do the same. I just put some on the back of my hand here, and then I apply. Okay, so last but not least, let's go into this gold shade here, and I'm going to place it on the inner part of the eye here. So in the Zoom masterclass yesterday, they used one of their Chantecaille eyeliners, which I do not own. So I'm going to go into this Chanel Stylo aux Yeux. This is Brun Agapé, and it has a little bit of gold in it. So I just want to have something that sort of looks dark, but has a little bit of mystery to it. And then I'll top it off with a bit of mascara. This is the Dior Show mascara in the shade Black. And then last but not least, let's top it off with Acacia, this tawny rose that just matches my shirt and this whole fall look. I wore Acacia yesterday and I found that the lip color stains. So you can see it's a lip veil. So it's that buttery, hydrating, creamy lipstick. And then after a while, that hydration will kind of dissipate, but you're left with a stain on your lips. Now, let's go ahead and finish off the look with some perfume. I have a sample here of Darby Rose. So this is a eau de parfum that came out last year, I believe. So this smells really surprising. It's called Darby Rose, and oftentimes that makes me think of just a very heavy floral scent, but this smells very citrusy, very fresh, and there's definitely rose in here, but also some lemon. And there must be some other flowers in here too, because it smells very floral and citrusy. At first, it kind of made me think of tea. I'm not sure why, not orange pekoe tea, but just a very aromatic cup of tea. I'm not sure why. There's also patchouli in here, and I think raspberry. I think there's some magnolia and maybe apricot. It smells a little bit fruity, not sweet in a caramel coffee type of sweetness, but more in a fruity sweetness. It definitely feels like a summer perfume maybe. Anyway, it's quite intriguing. I'm very happy to have this sample. I haven't tried any Chantecaille perfumes before, so this is a pleasant discovery. Okay, so here are my thoughts. I really like these colors in the palette here, but there is an awful lot of fallout. When you apply this, you do have to be careful because you could easily swirl your brush in here and end up with a bit of a mess. So just be careful with that. But I think that these colors all blend together very nicely. I think that this trio is just a perfect combination of fall colors. You could wear these individually or mix them together, but these are very distinctly fall tones, so I think it's very appropriate. I think if you're someone who was a little bit put off by how shimmery some of the previous Chantecaille eyeshadows have been, they've been pretty intense, especially when you wet them. I'm thinking of the Hummingbird Eye Quartet, especially the singles as well. I love them personally, but I could see how some people might be a little bit standoffish. I think this is for you because these are 100% more natural. It's more subdued, it's more neutral. It's definitely more user-friendly. Like if you're not someone who has a lot of makeup expertise or lots of experience with makeup, I think this palette here, these colors would be easy for you because They just all blend really well. They're not super opaque and in your face. They're just very natural. This lip color here I think is stunning. I love the lip veil formula. I love the lip veil and lip cheeks. I find that they're very comfortable, very buttery, very hydrating. I love how opaque this is. This is pretty true to color here, like the tube here with this beautiful burgundy packaging. This is pretty much the color that you get, and it is a lipstick, so if you eat and drink, it might wear off a little bit, but even with a mask, I was wearing a mask yesterday and I didn't end up looking like the Joker. I had a mask that had the metal wire over the nose, so it was a little bit further away from my face, but I was able to wear this and not look smeared around. So I think this is it for today's video. If you are new to my channel, whenever I get a collection, I create multiple different looks with the same items. So if you picked up the Chantecaille fall collection, I would highly recommend that you subscribe, because I will give you many different ideas and suggestions on how to use up your items. I will often mix and match with different collections, different companies, etc. So it's just a good way to learn how to use up all of your makeup. Please let me know down in the comments what you think of today's video. What do you think of this collection? Did you buy it? Do you have it on hold? Let me know your thoughts. Did you get one of these lip veils? Which color? Just sound off in the comment section. So the more that I'm thinking about these eyeshadows and how natural they are, the more it makes me think of the Westman Atelier iPods. So these are these stackable cream eyeshadows that came out from Westman Atelier. So I got the trio here called Les Jours, which is the daytime collection. And these are just very lightweight, very natural eyeshadows that offer a very natural look. This kind of reminds me of these here, but I do have to say that in my opinion, the Chantecaille trio here is more opaque and has more color payoff than the Westman Atelier trio. I don't know, for some reason, these to me are kind of similar, but this one here has more color payoff. Okay, I think this is it for today's video, so thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.